Hello and welcome to Health and Wellness. I'm Dr. Jennifer Ashton. Eating disorders affects up to 24 million Americans, most of them girls and young women. I'm joined today by Liana Rosenman of the Project Heal, in which young women are using their experience to reach out to others. Thank you so much for joining me, Liana.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me how Project Heal came about.
Project Heal was originally Becky's idea. That's the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all like doing really well physically, but mentally we still had our bad days where we were struggling with our body and negative thoughts. So we decided that life shouldn't be like this and people shouldn't have to constantly be bombarded with negative thoughts about their body and stuff. So we brainstormed and we decided we wanted to start a nonprofit organization to help people with eating disorders and also raise money because it does cost a lot of money for treatment.
And you were how old when you decided to start it?
I was 16 and Christina and Becky were 15.
Okay. And you had your own personal experience with eating disorders, the three of you, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that? What was that like?
It was really hard going through that. I struggled for about 4 years. I developed many staph infections due to malnutrition, and every day was a battle. School was horrible, and my friendships with my friends and families, they're all destroyed, and it was a really hard going through that, but it definitely made me a stronger person.
Now, what was so instrumental in your recovery? Was it a combination of your family, your friends, and some doctors and therapy, or what was most important to you?
Definitely a good treatment team. I had a therapist, a nutritionist, a doctor, my family, my friends, my teachers. They were all really supportive. But it's definitely a battle within. You have to be ready to give it up. And I mean, there were a lot of things that made me have the turning point that I was like, okay, I need to give this up.
Now, a lot of people liken eating disorders, which includes everything from anorexia to bulimia to binge purge to even restriction, caloric restriction, that might not manifest in such an absolute way where someone has overt anorexia or bulimia. But a lot of people liken eating disorders to alcoholism or a true addiction, in that even once you're recovered, it's something that you have to deal with every day. Do you feel that way?
I don't feel like I have to deal with it every day. I mean, there are definitely some days where I'll be like stuck, but I never think anymore after I eat like I feel guilty or anything. Like I could eat anything I want and when I want and not have a thought afterwards.
Now, because of your work in the Project Heal, you do a lot of speaking, which is kind of unusual for an 18-year-old. Tell me about some of those experiences. First of all, was it difficult for you to learn to speak publicly, and what kind of groups do you normally talk to?
We usually speak to high school students, middle school students. We spoke in at Penn State Eating Disorder Unit. Patients were there and doctors, and speaking to me was actually really hard because I remember in like 9th or 10th grade when we had to do public speaking for books, I would always like freak out and have to go to the bathroom and just freak out. And now I'm just like a different person. I could stand up there. I guess it's different now because I'm talking about my experience that I know in the long run will help people.
Now, how much, having gone through a bout with an eating disorder, do you and your friends think popular culture and the media plays a role in affecting eating disorders today in the country?
I think it has a bit of an impact. I mean, from a young age, young children are they see Barbie dolls, and that's what we're portraying to our youth at 2 and 3 years old. And I mean, if Barbie was real, she wouldn't be able to stand on all fours because she's so disproportionate. And even with magazines, I mean, I was a big fan of magazines when I was 12 or 13. Like my bat mitzvah theme was magazine stand, and it's hard reading magazines. There's articles on eating disorders, and then the next page you still see those stick thin models.
What about the other end of the spectrum? What about friends that you know or teenagers that you might come in contact with who are battling obesity? Do you feel like there's an overemphasis on thinness to the point that maybe that has affected those people as well?
I do, yeah.
So you think that definitely our culture and the world in which we live plays a big role?
And there's a lot of other influences that people have eating disorders, like there's post-traumatic stress, there's also family issues. A lot of people I've seen had family issues and they lead to eating disorders.
What do you think that adults, whether they're teachers or doctors or maybe even parents, what do you think that adults do right and what do you think that adults do wrong when it comes to dealing with teens and trying to teach them about a healthy body image?
That's a funny question because that was hard growing up because my brother was on the opposite side of me, and I was always growing up learning what to eat, what not to eat, what foods to avoid. There is a in-between though, like you could maybe eat organic food or just promote healthy eating and exercising. There's like a fine line.
Right, between the extremes.
Yeah.
So what's new for your plans for the Project Heal? What do you have planning in the future?
The future, our biggest dream is to open a residential treatment center and mostly take all insurances, hopefully. And also, coming up, we're hoping to have a benefit concert in the summer.
Nice.
So that should be fun.
Who are you trying to get?
We would love Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift. Right now, I've been in contact with Matt Gerard, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
So impressive to see what you and your friends have done, and at any age that would be impressive, but the fact that you started it as a teenager and that you really wanted to help others avoid what the three of you had been through is really an incredible thing. So hopefully you'll come back and talk to us again when you do your big concert benefit. And to find more about the project, including how you can help, go to theprojectheal.org. And for Health and Wellness, I'm Dr. Jennifer Ashton. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, wishing you good health.